Sup, boppers? So, it's nighttime and I can't sleep at night anymore for some reason. I sleep very well in the day. So, I'm becoming nocturnal. And it's like 3 something in the morning, and I felt like making a video because I want to talk about something. A couple of things in particular. Now, I would not be boasting like I am on the internet if it was not for the fact that it drives these hobgoblins in my life crazy. Because they tried everything in their power to break me down, to destroy me, quite literally destroy me. So, me throwing it up in their face that I'm actually thriving despite all of their efforts drives them insane, and that makes me happy. I certainly would not be putting all of my personal life out there, not even close, but they counted on that because they know how private I am, and that has worked to their advantage thus far, up until the recent past, when I started putting all this out there on the interwebs. They counted on the fact that they could abuse me with impunity, that I would not tell anyone, that no one would find out. And they went around and told everybody how crazy and terrible I was, so that if I did say anything, that immediately people would just blow it off, right? So, I have found that if you don't tell your story, somebody else is gonna. And apparently, there's some question about my tattoos. So let me explain my tattoos, okay? I've touched on this before, but let me go into more detail. So I have a tree on my ankle, and the roots go down my foot, like they're touching the earth when I walk. I'm very attached to trees. We have a connection to trees, obviously. We exhale carbon dioxide, they inhale carbon dioxide, they exhale oxygen, And then if you look at lungs, if you look at a set of lungs, they look a lot like tree roots. It's kind of amazing. When I have a favorite trail at the dunes that I walk. It's Trail 7. And there's this huge tree, and the leaves are so high, I can't even tell what kind of tree it is. But the trunk is so wide, it's huge and tall. And this might sound fucking hippy dippy, but I befriended that fucking tree when I had no friends. And I would lean up against that tree and I would cry and I would tell that tree what the fuck was going on in my life. And I felt the energy of that tree, and I call him Grandpa Tree. It's fucking weird to a lot of people, and maybe some people understand, some people don't, but that fucking tree is my friend, man. And I love him. But anyway, this tree, I wanted a winter tree to symbolize the trees at the dunes. And the guy drew it out on my leg, and it looked like a desert tree, like the trees you see in Sedona that are twisted, and they don't have any leaves on them, and they have the blue-green color, I guess it's lichen growing on them. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want. And when I went to Sedona, I saw a lot of trees that looked like my tree tattoo. So on that same foot where the tree is on my ankle and foot, I have Bell Rock. And the tattoo ink is made from the soil from Bell Rock. So that's pretty cool. It's like the orangish, reddish color of the soil and mountain. And it's the actual mountain. I have the mountain tattooed on my foot. Now there's another mountain formation, Kachina Woman in Boynton Canyon in Sedona, and Warrior Man is attached. And I had a pretty prolific experience right there on that spot. So a lot of people believe that there's vortex energy, and that's what makes the trees twist like they do. The trees that are on the mountains and surrounding that area. And so, again, this tattoo artist has tattoo ink from all of those vortex mountain spots. So I got a spiral with the ink from Kachina Woman from Boynton Canyon, right above the Bell Rock tattoo. Now, I didn't know what the fuck that symbol meant. That symbol has been on caves for thousands of years. And to me, it symbolizes vortex energy, which we see in nature all the time. Whirlpools, for example, right? And the vortex energy of that spot. I later found out that it means something fucking terrible, but you know what? I didn't agree to that, and fucking it has meant something else for thousands of years before they decided to fucking adopt that symbol. And that's the thing about symbols and colors and categorizing ourselves. I love rainbows, and rainbows have been around for how long? Is it 4.5 fucking billion years? So one time I was at the vet and I had a rainbow scarf that I had thrifted. It was vintage and it had all the rainbow colors in it, and I liked it. And the vet said, "Oh, nice scarf." And then proceeded to just try to, she was just being passive aggressive. Because she thought I was gay. And that does happen, and you can't deny that. I've witnessed racism, that's real. I've witnessed it with my neighbor when someone rolled past here and yelled the N-word at him. And I was standing right in my yard, and I heard it, and I saw it. So let's not pretend that racism doesn't exist, because that's a little bit fucking ridiculous. And I'm going off topic now, but this needs to be said. We're not going to sit here and pretend racism doesn't exist, right? That's fucking naive, and it's ignorant. But is it being exploited for means other than altruism? Absolutely, in my opinion. In my fucking humbles, it is. They're using it to divide people. Divide and conquer. Oldest trick in the book. Right? But to say it doesn't exist, come on now. I've said that's just one fucking example. And my adoptive father was one. Oh my God, the things that have come out of his mouth. But anyway, symbols, tattoos. I have nothing against gay people, but I'm not gay, but I like rainbows, so I'm gonna fucking wear them, and whatever people think, they think. And I really don't care. Rainbows make me happy. They're a promise in the sky, and they're beautiful. I saw a double rainbow in Sedona, actually, and then a hummingbird. I had a couple weird experiences with hummingbirds. Actually, 3 different weird hummingbird experiences in Sedona. But that's a whole nother video. Then a hummingbird came to fucking chill as those 2 double rainbows popped out, and that was when I was really ill. So, you know. Anyway, back to the tattoos. So then I have the black sun, right? And it's in tribal form. And I got that. I felt very drawn to get that. And I feel that the sun's, you know, gives us life. We wouldn't have life without the sun, without us being in the exact position to sustain life with the amount of sunlight we get. Right? And then I have the black rose, which I covered up an old tattoo. I used to have a pink rose with a red heart there on my hip, next to my bikini line, the front of my hip, right above my thigh. But it had Heather's dad's name on it, so I was like, oh no. So I covered that up with the black rose, because I had to get a black tattoo to cover it up. And I thought, oh, La Petite Mort, the little death, the orgasm, how appropriate. So it has nothing to do with anything fucking sinister. And then I have a blue lotus flower on my shoulder. And that used to be a purple rose and a little butterfly next to it with little stars. But it wasn't a good quality tattoo. And it really didn't mean anything to me. So the blue lotus flower means something to me. Blue being my favorite color. It's accented with orange and the Van Gogh blue-orange combo style that I really appreciate. And then, you know, the petals of the lotus flower represent the different facets of us as beings at different levels of consciousness and awareness. And we're so complex, really. And then my tramp stamp is a black hand symbolizing God and a small figure of a woman holding her arms up, and in between her hands is a blue globe like the earth, right? So, I mean, come on, that's self-explanatory, right? I'm this small figure in God's big hand, and yet I can hold the earth between my hands because I'm that important to God. I'm that important. So are you. He knows every hair on your head, and he says so. That's love. When he knows every hair on your head. So I have to clarify these things because people are associating my tattoos with, like I said, some dark things. And that was never my intention. I've never worshipped the devil. I've said shit like on Facebook. I had gang stalkers at a Church of Christ. They kept putting my location there. And those were deleted as well out of my phone, those screenshots of all of that. But, you know, I have it still somewhere else. I just can't get to it right now. Print it out, hard copies. So I was just fucking with them because on Facebook I put Hail Satan, and it was just like fucking, you know, I love God. I didn't even believe he existed, to be honest with you, at that point. I was like, it's all bullshit. It's all made up and it's not real. But you know what? He is real. But I don't belong to him. I belong to Christ, period. And nothing or no one will change that. And I will live in a tent in the winter with no food or shoes before I sell my soul. Let me make that abundantly clear. So yeah, that's the story of my tattoos. My very first tattoo was a Latin king cross where the blue flower is. The blue lotus flower. And then I got the purple rose to cover that. And I got that was pen ink and a needle. It was a cross with the 4 points. Or was it 2 points? Fuck, I can't even remember now. So like I said, you know, express yourself. If you're in a situation where people are slandering you, you know, you really don't have a choice. You have to clarify it. And believe me, I would rather not put all this out there. I'd rather just keep my business to myself, but you know, evidently I can't afford that luxury right now. Probably not ever again, because yeah, that's another video.